Shalom, shalom. How you doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How's it going? I hope it's going well with you and all your loved ones. I'm here again, the one and only Nubian King. Listen, if you want to join in on the conversation, you have a few minutes that you would like to jump on, leave some comments, some dialogue, or what have you. I just post a link where you can come on, hit me up, and I'll see it. If you want to show your face, that's good. If you don't, that's still good. But if you just want to chop it up with me and talk, that's all good too. Okay. Today, I want to talk about what I'm seeing here with this war situation that's going on. You know, uh, man, it's a mess. The thing about it is, you have so many people at each other, and that's real dangerous. It's so much emotion centered around this Israel Palestinian situation that I got to just say, hold it, stop. We being played as a population on this planet. You got Israel on one side and you got the Palestinian on the other. And I listened to this uh, conversation, Piers Morgan. You know, Piers Morgan, he had a Palestinian woman on there and he had a Jewish woman on there. Oh man, that's like kryptonite, boy. That's like a match and a stick of dynamite. How do you think that was gonna go? Oh God, I hate to laugh. It ain't funny, but it just it. You know, I'm sitting there looking at these two women hollering and screaming at each other. One in denial, won't admit what they've done, and the other one, all she want to talk about is what they done. And Piers Morgan, he like, man, that's like a referee in a boxing match. I'm like, what was the purpose of bringing them on there? To face each other. It's like you should have one come on one day, say everything she got to say, and then have the other one come on and let her say everything she want to say. Man, them girls was at each other. Woo-wee. That was terrible. That was terrible. But at the same time, it caused me to stop and think, because that's what we want to do. The people that listen to this channel and me, we are a specific breed because we do. We want to think our way through things and not be emotional and end up in a bind because we reacted on emotions. And when you get emotional, you stop thinking. And this is a thinking man game situation we in right now. And that's what I see taking place. You got so much emotions built up between these two, Israel and Palestine. Wow. And it ain't going good for the people at all. And that's the thing that I'm very concerned about. These two women on this show, Piers Morgan's show, yeah, they look like they could have got this slugging on each other and one had no problem with it. That's how it was. You probably saw it, but whew. So that's why I wanted to just mention to my listeners and share this with other people if you like. Calm down. This ain't over with. Okay? calm down. We know, everybody know what's happening. Okay, they not going to, no, the bandit don't never admit what they've done. The guilty party, they not gonna stand up and tell you, yeah, we did that. Until some time way off in the future. That's when you get to hear that. But anything prior to that, they ain't finna admit. They're not about to admit, no wrong. Because if they do, then where that put them? Huh? It's sad that we're at this point. And none of this stuff happens out of a vacuum. I read to you all the other day the letter from Albert Pike that was written in 1871, 152 years prior to these days. And we have people that deny it and say that never happened. You have people that deny slavery happened. Yeah, believe it or not, I literally sit down and talk with an individual that said slavery never happened. All of that was a made up situation to lie to the people. What? So you have all type of people believe things, and it's your right. You believe like you want to. Some of it's true, some of it's not. But at some point, this stuff started kicking in. So I read that to you about when Albert Pike wrote about the 3 wars, and then he wrote about the Third World War, right? And the Third War must be fomented by taking advantage of the difference between the agent of Illuminatis and between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. And then this is the point that we're seeing here. And when I saw that interview on Piers Morgan between the Palestinian woman and the Jewish woman, this is the point about his letter that came to my mind. It says, meanwhile, the other nations, okay, now the war must be, it says, paragraph before, it said the war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arab world, and the political Zionists, the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other. You got to hear that. I'm saying it again because no one is they're not at a point to stop in endeavor to bring about the peace on behalf of those men, women, and children. That's not about war. They just want to live. You understand? But you have a certain people, they're all about war, pain, and suffering because that's what they want to do. You understand? And all they need is a small reason to come in and get their gun off, their bomb off, because that's what they want to do. That's what they love. This is why you have nations that spend billions upon billions on military equipment and soldiers and fighting and warring, as opposed to coming up with $1 for peace. And so while this letter was written, you have people that say, "Oh, that's not true. It wasn't written then. They just wrote it." But still, who's able to sit up and say as absolute and clearly the way these things have taken place with the First and Second World War? Okay, that's over with. But right now, we're talking about the Third World War that we feel is underway, and we at the beginning. And so it's talking about the war got to be conducted that the Arab and Israeli mutually destroy each other, And then that this is the point that after watching the Piers Morgan show with the Palestinian woman and the Jewish woman, right? It says here in the letter, meanwhile, the other nation that's watching this situation go on, this war, these killings and bombing, once more divided on this issue, and this population, the great majority of this population is absolutely divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economic exhaustion. Now, after I watched this program with these women on there hollering at each other, over talking each other, I mean, I'm like, I think Pierce, you better be ready because it look like they about to slug on each other. And this is what it's saying here in the letter. They're going to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, economic exhaustion. Why? At the end of the day, because Israel says their land, Palestine says their land. Israel done did stuff, Palestine done did stuff. But on the one side, want the information to be put out the way they want to put it out. And this is the battle with the woman on the show. She said, I don't want to sit and talk with anyone that deny the truth. You know? And right there is the crux of why this won't never be solved. Because in order to fix a problem, you must first acknowledge that you have a problem. And when one side of the situation won't acknowledge what they've done, ain't no fixing that. Ain't no repairing that. You can forget that. You know, you can sit up there and twist that, fry it, bake it, batter it, boil it, broil it, dry it, sun dry it, whatever. But if you're not willing to admit what you've done, you know, that's like ride or die with the lie. Tell the lie and be ready to ride it out and be ready to die. You're going to ride and die with that lie. And this is where it's at. You know, so ain't no negotiating. You can stop that. You can forget all about that. Talking about we going to negotiate? No, ain't none of that. Because if you're not willing to admit, then ain't no fix. Show me right. My favorite in there. How you doing? Good morning. You just woke up? Okay. Good to have you back again. I'm just sharing some thoughts. I watched the Piers Morgan interview between a Palestinian woman and a Jewish woman, and I thought they was gonna get going to blows up in there, you know. And so it motivated me to reach out and say, okay, fire my equipment up and just do a little something here. And with an objective to get as many people as I can to calm down and don't get caught up in the hype. You understand? I went over that Aha, you about to eat the buffalo wing for breakfast. I hear you. Um, in Hebrew, before one eat, you say bivracha. Bivracha. Bivracha is like enjoy your meal. And then here in Israel, they got another one, Betel Von. That's also like enjoy your meal. hmm Um, it's four. Excuse me. It's 2:28 over here. 2:28 in the afternoon. And when I finish this, I'm gonna jump to the gym, get my workout in. I done got back to working out after those injuries, the ligaments. It took me years. I almost got killed in an accident. This guy came over in my lane and hit me head on uh, over 8 years ago. And my right hip ligaments, they was all almost ripped off the bone. And I was laid up in the bed for 8 months, and then it was a uphill battle to get back to on my feet. I could stand up for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then I had to sit down. Wow, it's early. It's 7:28. Um so anyway, I'm like, oh, this is terrible. This is really bad. It's really bad. It is. Because if you're not going to admit what you've done, is no fix when you don't admit. You can't. You got two people at each other for something. And then when you come to do the investigation and try to find out what's going on to help them, and when one person not willing to admit what they've done, you ain't no fixing that. And so I watched this interview on Piers Morgan between the Palestinian woman and the Jewish woman blow up to hollering and screaming. And the Palestinian woman said, if you're not willing to, she said, if you're going to be a denier, deny my history and what your people have done to my people, I can't sit here and talk with you. If you're not willing to admit the truth, man, that woman sat there and she twisted that history all the pretzel up. You know, it was just sad. I mean, after all of this, still not willing to admit what you've done. And I believe that is no, like I was on a show a few days ago and they asked me what did I feel would be a solution to what's taking place in the Middle East between the Palestinian and Israelis. I said the solution is that God himself will have to be at the negotiating table before any type of solution comes. A one-state solution, two-state solution, none of that. None of that is going to be working. You understand? Because we see what everybody's position has been. We see what Israel's position has been over the years. We see what the Palestinian position has been over the years. And when you living in a state and you got walls all around your community and, every single day people up in you, and then they turn around and what? We ain't do nothing. But see, it's tough when your enemy is controlling the networks. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly true. That's a tough call right there, man. Oof. So your enemy get to tell the story. That's what they say. Whoever win the war, they get to tell the history the way they want. fix it up any kind of way. But yeah, this is gonna be this is it's gonna be a while. Now, I told you I live Ashkelon, Israel, 8 miles north of Gaza. I have for the past 2 days been hearing and feeling the heavy bombardment. I'm 8 miles north of Gaza. And what am I saying? When they drop bombs big enough, the concussion, the vibration, the shaking of the earth, it resonates. That energy goes through the ground. Okay, and I'm on the 8th floor of my 9-story building. And as that energy resonates through the ground, it caused my building to vibrate. Not hard, it's real subtle. But if you're paying attention, then you can feel it. And if you don't have any music or sound on, you literally can hear the glass vibrating in whatever area of your house that is loose enough. And this pounding has been going on constantly for the past 2 days, you know. And I mean, they dropping big bombs. Woo, 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 woo. Steady coming in. So again, Hamas, they really, really mucked up, you know. And you got people say, well, they was let in, it was a stand down, or whatever. It's all type of theories and explanations. And now all of a sudden the internet is flooded with Israel, Palestinian expert, historical geniuses, you know what I'm saying? Judean wizard. Everybody just, man, all these people all of a sudden know so much about Israel and they telling all these stories. And I'm like, wow, where have y'all been? You know? And I listened to one individual, I ain't gonna bust him out. He was on a major talk show, I mean a huge talk show. And he was explaining some things about Israel. And the person, his information was so jacked up. You know, I really don't allow myself to get twisted with this information floating across the internet. You know, some people know what they're talking about. Some people just don't. This guy, he had a portion of the story, you know, but he really didn't know the details. You know, he's speaking like he's an authority on Israel, and he's not. You know, he's not. I mean, when you all hear me speaking, you know, the things that I say, I work really hard to make sure that what I'm saying is accurate. Now, I want to say there are times where some slip through the crack and I fumble the ball. And if someone let me know, hey, Nubian King, listen, King, that wasn't true what you said. Really? What happened? And I'm gonna come right back and fix it. If it's one of those situations where you can go back and correct, you need to go on and correct it. Okay? But what this guy was talking about, the government of Israel, he had it wrong. The portion that he was trying to explain was about the Supreme Court here in Israel. The Supreme Court has authority to stop any laws, any movement that the ministers are doing. It's set up here in Israel. They don't have they don't have a Republican Party, a Democratic Party. They don't have senators and all these people running around that's running the government. They have ministers, and these ministers head up each section of the government: Minister of Security, Minister of Finance, Minister of Environmental Protection Agency, Minister of Transportation, Minister of Health, like that. It's broke down in all these sections, and each individual that head up that section is a minister. And those ministers, they have the authority to do whatever need to be done, make whatever decision that affect those ministries that they sit over, those departments. And he have a lot of people under him, okay? And the system is set up, and he's the minister. I'll give you an example with myself. When I came in from America way back when, I got, crane license, NCCCO certification. I got OSHA certification where I was an OSHA trainer in the States. I've been a crane operator for 32 years. And so I was a crane instructor for a season in America. And having all the certification, everything I got, come in member of the union, International Union of Operating Engineers, my local 487B, Miami. So I'm a senior operator. You understand? Journeyman. I'm not no uh, uh, rookie, you know? And so when I came to Israel, I walked over here. I landed with heavy experience and credentials. So when I, wanted to get out and get in the crane, you got to have your license. Okay, cool. Got to have your license, everywhere, right? And so I went to get the license and showed them all my credentials from the States. And they're like, yeah, buddy, but you got to have an Israeli license. I said, okay, well, I want to convert them. They didn't want to convert them at the license bureau. So I talked with the director of the license bureau, and he wanted me to go to school. What? Dude, are you kidding me? Go to school? Man, I am the teacher. So anyway, I ain't want to hear that at all, So what I did, I went up the ladder, and I end up with a meeting with the minister of transportation, which also sat over that licensing division of heavy equipment and all of that. And I'm sitting in his office in Jerusalem. This is the minister. Now, ain't nobody else gonna make a decision on this except the prime minister, which is not needed. That was Netanyahu. Okay, like I told you, the government is headed up by ministers, and out of those group of ministers that's heading up the government, there's one minister that sit over all the ministers. They call him the prime minister. He run everything. That's Netanyahu. Okay, so I'm sitting with the minister of transportation about these crane license, and I'm showing him everything. He looking at it. He said, wow. He said, you got a lot of experience and credential. I said, yeah. So I said, I don't need to go to school. I'm the teacher. And what we end up doing, he said, you're right. I see your point. I'm like, yeah, I just need those licenses so I can get to work. He sat there and he just looked at me, and, he had my license. He said, he said, you're right. He said, I tell you what, do you understand the metric system? Mm-hmm. Because, in America, we don't use the metric system of measurement and weights, and speed, whatnot. So anyway, he said, "Listen, I believe you. I believe you. You got these credentials. I believe you know what you're doing. The only thing in my mind, I'm just concerned about the different measurement system, weight system between America that use the imperial measurement system and Israel that use the metric, which is uh, when you say a kilo, then a kilo is 2.2 pounds in the imperial measurement system. Mhm. And so this, he said, he wanted to make sure that I was good to go on that. And he asked that if I would, okay, I tell you what, just sit in the class for 5 days. He said, I'm gonna do this special so that at least I know you got that ironed out. And then he asked me, so if you coming in from America off the imperial system, how can you understand how much stuff weight and how much you can lift with the crane? I told him all these cranes now, modern crane, have scales in them. And there's never been a project that I've been on that the supervisor, the manager, the foreman didn't know how much the things weighed that need to be picked up. They know that already. You know what I'm saying? And he said, okay. So what he did, he contacted the owner of the school, and the three of us sat there and talked on the phone, and he explained to the owner what was going on. And he said, he does not need any schooling. He's an instructor from the state. I just wanted to make sure that he go over the metric system. So I want him to sit in your class and go over it for 5 days, but don't let anybody know what's going on. This is just between the three of us. So that's what happened. I went there 5 days, and they gave me all my license, everything, and I went to work. And so I've been in it, through it, around it. You know what I'm saying? Over here in Israel. And it's just troubling for me, and to see how this here situation done brought out so much anger and hostility in the human family. And you seeing people in several countries all around the world, pro-Palestine, pro-Israel. And you have to ask yourself, why is someone in Uruguay, Prague, Latvia upset about what's happening in Israel? You know why? Because 99% of the inhabitants on this planet do not like ugly. And everybody is clear about the ugliness. Both sides done whacked off each other. But when you got one side that's not willing to admit, that's going to be a hard call right there. If you've been cheating, okay, and then you just get caught red-handed. I mean, you done stole it, and we caught you red-handed with it in your hand, and you still won't admit that you stole it. Oh man, you know what? You ain't even normal. You really, really crazy. Cause we done caught you red-handed with that you just stole, and we caught you so smooth it's still in your hand, and you standing right there, looking me in my face, telling me, "Oh, I didn't take that." You know what? We're not dealing with a normal situation here, cause you back it crazy. Do you realize you got the thing in your hand? And so he looked down and see it. and he still look at you and say, I didn't take this. That's who we dealing with. That's exactly the kind of energy, spirit that we dealing with. Done stole it. We caught him. It's in his hand. And he's standing there and looking me in my face. Say, I didn't take this. It's in your hand. No, I didn't steal this. That's exactly the way these people are acting now. Sitting up lying, cheating, stealing, backbiting, doing all manner of wickedness. Straight up, I didn't do that. And being caught live on camera. So this is way beyond a situation where, okay, we can get together in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, and we can pull Israeli representative in and Palestinian representative in, and we talk a little bit and we solve this situation. That ain't finna happen. Absolutely not. Because somebody gonna roll up in there and not tell the truth. They ain't gonna admit. So it was a good trip. I mean, nice hotel. I mean, enjoyed the food, but accomplished absolutely zero, nothing. A waste of organic time. Because if both parties ain't really sit there and admit to what they've done, it ain't nothing like, getting done up by a bandit. And when the bandit get caught from doing you up, refuse to admit that he did it. Don't that make you mad? It do. And that's exactly what happened to that show, that Piers Morgan show that I was looking at. One side didn't want to admit to what they've done. And the other side just got madder and madder and madder until I thought, man, Piers, you better call security because these two look like they about to fire on each other. Because the girl just kept denying everything. Until the other woman said, I'm not going to sit here with a denier of truth. You don't want to admit what you've done. Man, please. So I'm like, listen, let me get on here and just say, people, don't get caught up with all this. You stay calm. And remember what the guy said in the letter, that they want to claim that it's not true. He said, meanwhile, the other nation, once more divided, and we see this division on this issue between Israel and Palestine, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economic exhaustion. It's going to beat each other to pieces. And so, why? Then, everywhere the citizen obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionary will exterminate those destroyers of civilization and the multitude, disillusioned with Christianity. Okay, let me skip that because that's a bunch of anxious. Okay, the people, once they're going to fight each other to bits, they're going to be anxious for an idea or a solution. And without knowing where to focus their energy, they'll receive, this is what they want to do. They'll receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer, brought finally out in the public view. They want to reveal Satan on a level where now Satan will have a position on planet Earth. Talking about the devil behind all of this. Yeah. So anyway, y'all got to be cool. You had to be even keel. You got to be able to sit up and watch all this madness on the TV and don't let it push you into a position where you get nervous, you start panicking, and you sweating, and you looking at the situation. Ooh, don't go there. Okay. Try to be like me. Keep going with your exercises. Keep eating your good food. Don't let them get you. You know what I'm saying? All right. So that's gonna be it for me. We haven't heard yesterday. We heard one, two of the siren go off, some bomb explosion over the building. Cause uh, obviously Hamas don't have the launch capabilities that they did when they started on the 7th of October, 8th, 9th, 10th. It's just been steady going down, down, down. Now Israel is down there putting in the work. And so they've been talking about the tunnels underground. And I literally can hear the difference in the strength of the bombs they've been dropping. These babies they dropping now, it's been some bunker busters, because they shaking my building 8 miles away. You know what I'm saying? Woo-wee. All right. So keep your head on, stay focused, keep abreast of what's taking place. Don't let nothing sneak up on you, because you definitely don't want that. Don't be the type person that you're afraid, you don't want to listen to what they say, watch the news, because the news just be full of drama and fear and it ain't nothing good. Well, all that's true too. But the news also had the information that you need to know. So you need to know what to do. You know, it's nothing wrong with being abreast of what's taking place on planet Earth. And right about now, this ain't no time to be walking around and all you know is the three sisters, three Kim Kardashian sisters, and this all you know. It's a time to be focused, to pay attention, to see what's going on, so you can know what you need to be doing. We got a lot of people out here talking, man. I mean, they Israeli experts, they Palestinian experts, they historical experts. I mean, wow, where all these people been? All the experts, and everybody just talking. And the only thing the Nubian King is saying, be cool, be ready. There's nothing wrong with going and get you some contingency stuff, some food that lasts a long time, and all the other things, the batteries, the gas cooker, the gas go out, the flashlight, and what have you, the electric. There's nothing wrong with being prepared, because where it's gonna go, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You got America already over there bombing in Syria, Iranian targets. What? Hold on. What did I just say? Americans already bombing in Syria, Iranian target. Wait a minute. Did you know that? What the smoke? Yes. They already bombing in Syria. Already. Israel and America in cahoots together, already bombing over there in Syria. They want to get at Iran. They have brought all of that military equipment, soldiers over here to help no daggone Israel fight Hamas. I've been here 42 years. I ain't never seen a time that Israel couldn't handle Hamas on its own. Do you know who Hamas is? Hamas is the military wing that took over Gaza, took control of Gaza. I think it was 2007, right? Check me on that. I want you to go to the YouTube, excuse me. I want you to go to Google or wherever you go, Brave, and look at Hamas, right? And get you some understanding of exactly who and what Hamas is. They gonna say it's a terrorist group. Certainly, it was formed. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I misquoted. See, it says it was formed in 1988 at the beginning of the first Palestinian Intifada uprising. Intifada means uprising. Its roots are in the Palestinian branch of the Muslim Brotherhood, and is supported by a robust social political structure inside the Palestinian Authority. The group charter called for establishing an Islamic Palestinian state in place of Israel and reject all agreements made between the PLO, which is the Palestinian Liberation Organization, and Israel. Hamas' strength is concentrated in the Gaza Strip and in areas of the West Bank. Hamas has a military wing known as the Izzadan al-Qasim Brigade that has conducted many anti-Israeli attacks in both Israel and the Palestinian territory since 1990s. These attacks have included large-scale bombings against Israeli civilian targets, small arm attack, improvised roadside explosion, and rocket attack. The group in early 2006 won legislative election in the Palestinian territories, ended the secular Fatah Party's hold on the Palestinian Authority, and challenging Fatah leadership of the Palestinian nationalist movement. Hamas continued to refuse to recognize or renounce violent resistance against Israel, and in early 2008 conducted a suicide bombing, killing of one civilian. Okay. In 2008, Hamas entered into a 6-month agreement with Israel that significantly reduced rocket attacks. Following the temporary calm, Hamas resumed its rocket attacks, which precipitated a major Israeli military operation in late December 2008 after destroying much of Hamas infrastructure in the Gaza Strip. Israel declared a unilateral ceasefire on January 18, 2009. Hold up. December 8th, excuse me, December 2008. In 2008, that's when the stock market took a serious dive. I remember now because I was in matter of fact, I was in Las Vegas in 2008. I was operating the crane building the city center project. Yeah, I went out to the States in 2005 and I landed in Atlanta. I was in Atlanta for a minute and then I went into Florida and I worked down there. That's why I, joined the union, International Operating Engineers. And then after we finished the project in Florida, I went into Vegas. The summer, I think it was the summer of 07. Or was it late 07? Anyway, 2008, I was in Vegas and I was trading stock options and I was operating a crane. I studied stock option derivative trading when I was in school out there. And yeah, you know what? Hamas in June 2008 entered into a 6-month agreement with Israel that significantly reduced rocket attacks following the temporary calm. Hamas resumed its rocket attack, which precipitated a major Israeli military operation in late December. The stock market took a serious dive because I remember in October, I was making good money off of BAC, which is Bank of America. When I started trading uh, Bank of America stock, I was wearing out puts because the Bank of America stock was sliding right down the mountain. And I was buying and selling puts like crazy. As I was operating the crane, I had my laptop in the crane and I was trading using E-Trade, Power Pro Trader at the time. Yeah. So, you know what? I'm about to do some more research in here because it says 2008, Hamas in June 2008 entered a 6-month agreement. I got to look that up. See that? See why it's always good to do your research, to read, study. You know what I'm saying? In July 14, the agreement broke down. See, you know, this is kind of one sided here. It said in July 2014, the uneasy calm between Hamas and Israel broke down completely after 3 Israeli teenagers was kidnapped and killed in the West Bank in June. Deaths ascribed by Israel to Hamas, and the Palestinian was killed by Israeli settlers in revenge. Retaliatory rocket attacks by Hamas military wing and other Palestinian militants in the Gaza Strip escalated into the longest and most lethal conflict with Israel since 2009. So you see, man, the only solution that can fix this, like I said, God is going to have to be at the negotiating table because these guys and some female, they warmongers. They love this. This is what they do. You know what I'm saying? This is what they do. Wow. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm not even from this place, man. I'm from the Alpha Centauri. You know, I'm from another whole planet. But it's just too bad that my spaceship crashed, landed on this mug, and here I am down here with all these knuckleheads. Oh man. You know the reason why I can't fix my craft? Because the metal that it's made of is not on this planet. Ain't that a bummer? And I done talk with my people and they they just don't want to come, man. They will want to come to that crazy planet. Well, how I'm gonna get home? It's, you got to think of something. You know, I talk I talked with family. They said, "Well, we'll meet you about a half a light year away from Earth. If you can get to that point, we'll scoop you up and take you home." Now, the only thing is, I ain't interested in flying on no NASA craft or no SpaceX because that stuff blow up too much. So right now, I'm kind of stuck. See, that's a little comedy. You know what I'm saying? To break the monotony, to break the stress. Because I know a lot of people stressed out over Israel and Palestine and people standing for this and that. Go home and sit down. Because it's a whole different thing at work. You know what I'm saying? Get out the street, go home and and eat and watch it on TV. Get yourself out of there. You know what I'm saying? It ain't even like that. You're looking at something that really don't have nothing to do with you. You know what I'm saying? Because when it's all said and done, it ain't gonna be nowhere near like what you think it is. Because this is a plan in effect. We have biblical scholars, they teach it in scriptures and going through a whole bunch of stuff. I'll call you down to the valley of Jehoshaphat and judge all the nations and all of that. Wow. Show me right. Which they say since my government service, we went from Panama, Iraq, Afghanistan, Iraq again, Libya, Syria, Ukraine, and all the proxies we see today. Just tired of it, my brother. And all of it was because of some fat, old, ugly cats after money. You know what I'm saying? We need to tread light. Speaking of space, this all started because the prime minister in Judea got concerned when Iran launched their third defensive satellite. Well, you know, I know it's a lot of theories out about why this popped off. I read the letter from Albert Pike. You got Netanyahu with 3 criminal cases over his head. You know what I'm saying? So you got people that say he allowed it to happen because the military was pulled off. You got me that worked 3 years building the wall around Gaza, and I know details about the wall, about the security, about the military, because I spent 3 years down there. Then you got what I got to say about the situation. You know what I'm saying? So you say the satellite was launched 10 days before October 7th, and at the same time, 10 days before October 7th, Egypt is saying they warned and told Netanyahu that Hamas was planning something big. But the day it jumped off with no military around. So it's a lot of theories, a lot of information going back and forth. You know, the thing that's really terrible is when you have innocent, men and women caught up here in the crossfire of the warmongers, you know, and, so many people are stressed out, afraid, and just don't know what to think. You have some people they can't take all this like that. I had so many people calling and asking me, "Am I going to leave Ashkelon?" I said, "For what?" And while I was on the phone, they could hear the alarm, siren, and the explosion, and they were like, "Bruh, you still there?" "Yeah." "You're not gonna leave?" "Nope." "Why?" I said, "Because I don't have to." Now that I'm not gonna go into why I know I don't have to. See, it's all quiet now. Yes, it was a lot of rockets, man. That doggone October 7th. Woo, them rockets rained down like rain out the sky. One moment I thought to myself, Shazam, where in the smoke is the Patriot missiles defense system? Well, we already know that it's only like 90% accurate, meaning if you see 100 rockets, they gonna miss 10. Well, in this case, with all the rockets they sent, they missed 90 and hit 10. Cause I promise you, they mollywop Ashkelon. Woo-wee. She, man, what? And I went to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm thinking, tomorrow the Shabbat, the holiday ain't nothing moving. It's gonna be quiet, so I can sit up and finish being watching my Power that I never watched season 2, 3 something I was in, and I'm like start nodding off at 4 o'clock, and I said, okay, that's enough. I'm just go to sleep, get a nice sleep tomorrow. Shabbat, 4 o'clock, 4:15. I roll over, go to sleep. So I gets in a real good rhythm. A couple of hours later, do you hear that? Look at that. Man, I was trying to get y'all some up. Then they don't start it again. You hear that? Wow. Wow, that's crazy. Okay. Okay, the siren going off. That's one explosion. Hold on, hold on. That's one. That's crazy. Okay, the siren just stopped. So let's see. I mean, there's two. Ooh, that shook the window. See that? Three. That was three explosions. That was a little further toward the water. That's four. That was way up there. See, what's happening now is Israel had put such an incredible dent in their launch capabilities that like that. See. Okay, what time is it? It's 3:13 in the afternoon. Okay, Saturday the 28th. Now, um, what just happened sound like 3, 4, 5 years ago, meaning that Hamas will shoot some rockets, the siren will go off, woo, and then the siren. See, the siren goes off to tell you scramble, get in the bomb shelter. Okay, the reason why I don't run because I live in my bomb shelter, my bed, my office, my computer system, my recording system, everything. My big screen TV is in here. Nice, it's good size. So I don't have to go running anywhere. So they say when the siren go off, get to the safe room, the bomb shelter, and then stay there for 10 minutes afterwards. Okay, cool. Or some of the debris fall down at the sky. All right. So what I was referring to is years ago, you would hear the siren go off, and then it would stop. And a few moments later, you'll start hearing an explosion. And generally, it was always 4 explosions. Boom, 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 and then it's over with. But that Saturday when I woke up, it was like 6 in the morning, a little after, and that siren stayed on for a while, and them rockets was coming, but them bad boy was pounding the ground. The building was shaking, the explosion was going off over the building. One they could catch, the rocket was falling. One fell in front of my building. There's a senior citizen facility way over there. This rocket fell in the dirt, and it hit with such power that I could literally feel the sand blow up in my window from 200 yards away, because I was standing there in the window looking out. You know what I'm saying? And I could hear the sand hit the glass on the far side of the senior citizen facility. And but I didn't leave. I didn't leave because I just wasn't afraid. I'm not a scary type of brother like that. Loud noises, bangs and booms don't shake me. Yeah. Now, the thing about weapons, are we allowed to carry weapons here? Yes, and it is a climb up Mount Everest to legally get a gun in Israel. But now during this war, the government are passing out weapons. I got my gun permit right here. I got it signed by the doctors. You had to have your doctor do a physical, make sure you're in shape. And I turned it in, and I can go get a gun. It's so getting a gun in Israel is such a uphill battle. You don't even know where to buy the gun from. I've been here 42 years, and I'm gonna say something you may not believe. I don't know where to buy a gun from, but my Israeli brother, and yes, I say that, and I can tell you, I got Israeli brother. I got 2 guys up here that we've been in these trenches so deep. I call them my Israeli brother. I was talking to him the other night, and he said, "You got." And I asked him about the gun. Did he see on the news that the government was giving out weapons? He said, "Yeah." He said, "You got to get a permit filled out. Once you do that, they give you a gun." I said, uh-huh. So where you get the permit from? He said, hey, I got it. So he shot it to me on WhatsApp. I printed it out, filled it out, took and let the doctor check me. I'm good. So I just shoot it back to him. Right now, everything is kind of in the country half mass. Like, some things work, some offices work. Government, you can forget that. Government, them boys, they be in the office and don't be. Oh boy, this is don't none of y'all Jews get upset, but y'all be doing the thing, man. You be in the office on strike. I'm like, hold it, wait a minute. You go to the office, they say, nah, we svita. Svita means strike, right? And they like svita. Ain't kabalat kahal. Svita means strike. Kabalat kahal means we're not receiving the public. Okay, but you here in the office, yeah, and you're on strike, yeah, and you're not receiving the public, yeah, but I'm standing here, okay, but I can't do nothing for you. Why? Because we're on strike. But you're at your desk. Oh God. Woo-hoo-hoo. And it's just like that, so and them boys be looking for anything to go on the strike. And I'm laughing because, I've been here so long. It's just funny to me. But I know when people come in from America, boy, they can't deal with it, man. When I first came in, we used to have a hopsicon. Hopsicon is like a break, right? From 2 to 4. From 2 to 4 in Israel in 1981, everything stopped. Everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. Everybody went on break. Hopsicon, you took a break. You went to sleep, you stopped. Every store, every business, everything in this country, from Atula to Eilat, from the Jordan to the Mediterranean, you couldn't get diddly squat done because why? It's Hopsicon. Bain, Steinwarber, Hopsicon. Come back after 4, between 2 and 4 in the afternoon. Now Israel done changed, they modernized, and don't be talking about the Shabbat. Forget that. She's Friday, Erev Shabbat, the evening going into the Shabbat. Don't nobody work after 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock maximum. And like what is happening now is Israel getting into this 5-day work week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, off Friday and Saturday. Like America, you be off Saturday and Sunday, but Israel's getting into being off on Friday, And see, I've been here when it was 6 days, pound, balls to the wall, and half a day on Friday, right? But now it's like a lot of places you don't work on Friday, so you be off Friday and Saturday, which that's good because you do need them 2 days, right? And so right now, a brother that gave me the paperwork, he said he been waiting a couple of weeks on his to come back. But see, the thing is, the old people that's in them government offices, they not there because of the war. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I'm the big gun guy. I mean, it's like I don't want to have to pull the trigger a bunch of times to do the job. Because when you talking about you in a split second life or death situation, I don't want to have to keep shooting. You know what I'm saying? So when I worked at the Turk power plant I did off, just outside of Hope, Arkansas, we was building the Turk power plant when I was out there. A lot of the guys out there, they gun enthusiasts. They like the guns and everything, right? And so I used to hang out with them. And we went to, the gun shows and what have you. And I learned a lot with them, and my favorite gun was that Barrett 50 caliber. That's what I wanted, and it was $10,000. $10,000. I had the money, no big deal. But to feed that buster was crazy. How much them bullets cost? Oh, what? Well, don't worry about it, brother. The gun is on a one-time payment. You ain't got to worry about, and everything. But how much them bullets cost? Woo! Good googly boo, man. What? Anyway, you all right? Hey, so you had enough? Ooh-wee. Anyway, um, you had those let me see, it was you get a box of 200 rounds, the 660 Barrett for the 50 cal, and bag of $770, a pop. So anyway, I didn't get it because I had to come back over here. Anyway, I couldn't come in the gate with no daggone big $10,000 sniper rifle coming out of American Israel. What you fit to do? Oh boy. Anyway, so um that's what I wanted. Now I know they have a 50 caliber handgun, so that's what I would do. Whether I can get one of those over here, I don't know. Now turn in the paperwork. I will find out where to go, where to get them, you know, and see what they got that could be purchased. Yeah. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed those buffalo wings. You probably didn't finish eating, listening to me talk, but now I done got a little hungry. Anyway, I got to hit the gym, and I appreciate you listening. It was just something, was on my mind that I want to share with y'all about all this anger centered around this situation. I just want to tell you, be cool. Don't get caught up. Don't let them, throw you off into anything that you might not, want to deal with. Just for now, just be cool. Okay, you remember how when the COVID situation jumped, a lot of people got scared, and they really didn't listen and really didn't think. You know what I'm saying? They ran out the door. Next thing you know, boom. Then they find out, oops, maybe I shouldn't have did that. And in this society, this world, the way things work, is always best to not react. No matter what happened, you do, even in a relationship. If you're in a relationship, brother, sister, whatever, learn how not to react. If your woman comes in and she all geeked up on emotional things and she just do the best you can to be cool. And the reason why I'm saying do the best you can to be cool, because sometimes you can't be cool because you know what she doing. But I'm just saying that whatever you do the best you can at just being cool. Don't react. Okay, right now we kind of like at the beginning of all this. It's a whole lot of emotions going on, a whole lot of people arguing and fighting each other because of what they believe, what they know, or whatever what they feel. And remember, the Nubian King told you, you got to get to where you understand the difference between what you feel and what's real. Okay, you got to understand that difference between what you feel and what's real. You seeing things take place on the TV, but remember, the TV is one of the greatest tools of deception in the tool chest of the great deceiver. He will show you things and he will say things to you that do not, they nowhere near what the truth is. And remember, with this AI they got, now they can take my voice and put it on your face and have that voice on your face say what E.T. was saying in the movie. It's crazy how they can do this now. So much deception. And this is what these barbarians are good at, trickery. To have you looking at everybody else thinking he the bandit, where in fact they the bandit. And they got everybody else looking at one person and thinking he the guy that did it, but in reality, the people behind it, you don't even know them. And then when you come out and somebody stand up and tell the truth about what's happening, that's the one they all pounce on to try to get people to not hear that. And so in the midst of all of this, you got to be cool. You got to sit steady on your stool, be cool, and watch with another level of vision, because it ain't all what you think it is. These barbarians that have taken over this planet, they have gotten to the end of their genetic ability to reproduce. The last census showed in the United States of America that 26 states in America have had 0 white babies born in over a year and a half. And so now they are facing extinction. And so at this point, it's like, doesn't matter, because they're on the way out the door. It's like you done got shot and you dying. And you know in about 10 minutes, it's all black, you gone. So what do you care about whatever you do? You on the way out the door. And this is fact. If you don't believe me, because I told this to another individual and they said, no, that ain't true. You see how people just say that, and then you sitting here with verifiable fact. You got proof, you got your documentation, and you saying what it is just because it's something they don't want to hear, or something they don't like. They just say that ain't true. Okay, if it's not true, then you prove to me it's not true. It is in their records. They're the one that says in 26 states in the United States there have been 0 white babies born in over a year and a half. That means for every white death in those states, there's no replacement. So what happened if that trend continue? Then them folks, white folks in those states where no white babies are born, are going to go away. That's called an extinction. Slowly going into extinction. So now it's like they don't give a flip what they do. You know what? They know they ain't gonna be here. They can look around. You ever see how they always want to get the black gene? And you see that piece on the internet where the 2 ugly white dudes was talking to them 3 beautiful sisters, and he straight up told her, he said, y'all the beautiful woman, y'all got something ain't none of us got. Y'all got those genes and we want some. And then he turned around and told his sister, they'll pay $100. Man, I would have told that heathen when he can, you know what I'm saying? Y'all got to get up and walk away from the bandit. These dudes is filthy billionaires sitting over there, and they trying to hang on. And he straight up told them, he said, we need it because we going away. Literally. And so this is why I'm saying what we got to do as people of color, black folk, Nubian, whatever you want to call yourself, people of color, African descendant, however you want to term it, all you got to do is stay healthy and keep living. We gonna outlive this. Nubian King talking to you now. I want to give you something. For those of you that hung in here with me this far, all we have to do is stay healthy and keep living. I told you I'm going in health spa. You know what I'm saying? And in America, you got to be a genius not to get sick. Because just about everything around you makes you sick. Pizza, buffalo wings, all the medicine, fries, hamburgers, soda pop, drinks, or whatever you call it. Well, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. We call it a drink. Let's go get a drink. We talking about a Coca-Cola, Mountain Dew, Fanta Orange, Dr. Pepper, or something like that. It makes you sick. I met a sister that had gout so bad, and they finally admitted it. We was trying to say it long time ago that those daggone soda drinks cause gout, but they didn't want to hear it. So the big giants like Coca-Cola and all them companies, they squashed that information. But finally, it got out that gout, number one cause of gout in people's feet is soda pop drinks. I met a sister, she was addicted to Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola. She was sitting down next to me on the couch and she got up and almost fell over while her feet was hurting. She sat there and drank 2 Coca-Cola. And I'm drinking some Fiji water or something like that, watching a movie. And the sister get up and almost topple. I'm like, whoa, what's wrong with you? She said, my feet hurt. What? She said, I got gout. Gout? I mean, the sister wasn't even 30. What is dude doing? She says, them drinks. The Coca-Cola, yeah. Okay, then why are you drinking it? She said, I'm addicted to them. You see what I'm saying? Sad state of affairs, man. It's sad. But then the system, there we go again. The system got it so to a point where so many of the brothers is locked up. And then we got a lot of sisters raising boys, and they turning out with them feminine energies because they swear they can raise a son. And these boys is making decisions off emotions in the street and winding up in prison because you said something to me wrong. And then now the sister becomes the father, the mother, the provider, and she ain't got time to fix no dinner from scratch like mama did. Get up in there and get the chicken, thaw him out overnight, get up in there and cut him, batter him, you know what I'm saying, in the skillet, do the greens, cook a pan of cornbread and some black-eyed peas and make some picture of Lipton tea. They ain't got time to do all that. But what they can do is get on the phone and call it in. And now they come with this bag of stuff that you keep eating it, you're going to wind up in the hospital. Diabetes and prostate cancer and erectile dysfunction. You're 27 years old, can't keep a heart on 3 minutes and wondering what's going on. What's going on is those people that's making all this money off of medicine, and off of the medicine and prescriptions that the doctors prescribing you, who is the biggest drug dealers in the country, the pharmaceutical industry, the health industry, making all this money on sickness because we living in a world with sick people that are running the world with a sick mind. And if you don't know how to navigate, if you don't know how to navigate through this, you're going to be sick. Because what do they say? Diabetes, high blood pressure, right? Cancer. And it's like they got people believing it. Well, diabetes, it runs in my family. That's what they say. It runs in my family. Diabetes. Okay, so that means that you're supposed to have it. Well, my brother, diabetes running in my family. So that means you're supposed to have it. You see how psychologically people have been programmed to accept the worst? Just because you had 2 or 3 uncles with diabetes do not mean you're supposed to have it too. You getting it because you doing the same thing your 2 or 3 uncles did, eating that garbage. Look, do what I did. Go over to a Whole Food market. Go over there. You got to find one because they're only going to put them in the nicer neighborhood, not around our people. So you're going to have to get in your car, a bus, however, get over there to a Whole Food. When you go in there, find your spot that you can just chill and look around. I want you to just stand there or sit there because, a lot of the Whole Food, they have an eating area where you can sit down, get your food and eat. And so get somewhere in the Whole Food and just watch. What I want you to look for, I want you to look at the type of people that's coming into the Whole Food. Yeah, they're going to be mostly white. All right. Then they're going to be mostly in shape. They ain't going to be 300, 400, 500 pounds overweight. And then look at the things that they buy. They're gonna come in and they're gonna be going for the smoothies, the juices, and what have da 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 da. And then they're out. A lot of time they're gonna come in with sneakers on and workout sweats and everything. They'll either be coming from the gym or going to the gym, right? Or if they're not, they're gonna have the suits and the nice clothes and whatever. But they're not gonna be 2, 3, 4, 500 pounds standing in line with a bucket full of junk. Then when you finish the whole food trip, go over to a Walmart. The reason why I say Walmart, because Walmart, they got grocery section. And then just watch and look at the type people that's in the grocery section of Walmart. Do I need to keep going? Or you got it? You got the idea? You see what I'm saying? Fat, overweight, more than likely on some kind of aid, state aid, in a bucket full of junk, processed food that's got sugar, hydrogenated and partially hydrogenated canola oil, which they lying talking about canola oil is the best oil in the world for you. That's a damnable lie. When I was in high school in Atlanta, Georgia, CL Harper High, Charles Lincoln Harper High School, 3399 Collier Drive in Atlanta, Georgia. And I was in the 11th, 12th grade, what have you. And I studied auto mechanics. In that class, we went over different type lubricants. And at that time, in 1978, canola oil was being made in Canada from a seed called rapeseed, R-A-P, just like that detestable thing that men do to women, rapeseed. And that seed was a genetically engineered seed. And they genetically engineered the seed to be able to produce maximum amount of oil. And then they took that rapeseed and they altered it to make it produce even more oil. It was genetically modified seed from the start. Then they genetically altered the seed, and then they got the oil out of it. But how did they get the oil? They shot a chemical into it that caused it to release the oil. So they got all this oil from this genetically modified created seed called the rapeseed. And they got all this oil with the first chemical. Now, what that did, it got a lot of oil, but it produced a terrible, terrible odor. So they used the second oil to filter out the first oil. And that don't have an odor, and you got all this oil. But it got that second chemical in there that they used to filter the first chemical that made the smell when they made the oil. And then they used the third chemical to filter the second chemical out. And they bottled it up, and that's what you take it. And now they say that is the most healthiest oil for you. We was using that oil in 1978 to lubricate the tools that we was using in the automotive shop. And because I was so good with mechanics and everything, we had I went to a high school, seven quad A, 4,000 some odd students. We had a sewing center where we learned to sew and make clothes. We had a foods department where we learned to cook. We had a daycare center where we learned homemaking and those skills. It was a full daycare center. Babies came in there. We had a science department where we did all type of scientific experiment. We had a teaching theater where we had production and plays and big plays. We would invite the public and sell tickets. And I was the technician. I was head of the audio visual department in the teaching theater. And then we had the aquarium. It wasn't the aquarium. It was planetarium, where you go in, sit down in the dark, and the chair lay back, and it just pitch black ultimate dark. And then they show the sky on the ceiling and the stars and the moon. See, I went to that type of school where you learn skills and trade. Then we had the wood shop where you learn to work with your hand. And so when you came out of high school, you came with a skill. Then because I was so mechanically inclined, the sewing machine that was in the sewing department, I used to maintenance them. And I remember the oil that I used. I had a little plastic bottle with a long nose, and I used to squeeze that oil that I used to lubricate the parts to the sewing machine. The reason why it was such a good oil for that, because it was thin and had high viscosity, which kept the metal parts from scrubbing each other longer. And this was canola oil that was being made and produced out of Canada. It was a daggone petroleum product. So you roll the clock forward 30, 40 years, they got canola oil and everything. Even if you had a oil that is uh shoot, you could take a good oil, but when you hydrogenate it, you change the molecular structure of it. If it's hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated. And when that happens, when you heat the oil up, it goes through another change after that heat, and the molecules in the oil goes through your body, and when it's absorbed in your bloodstream, it scrapes the inside of your blood vessels, and in the area that's scraped open, the fat in your blood, which is cholesterol from whatever foods you've been eating, it sticks in that area that's scraped open, and then because it's stuck there, it's like little glue, it sticks to the other fat and a bunch of fat. Then it builds up in that area, and now the blood can't flow past that buildup of fat, and then there's back pressure on the heart, and you don't know what's happening. And so if you don't exercise to break that up and strengthen your heart, after a while you have what? High blood pressure. And then if you got high blood pressure, your heart is overworking to pump that blood through that area that fat has built up from that oil that you've eaten. And so if it's anyone that's really, really, really serious about changing their diet, the very first thing that you need to do is stop eating all manner of oils that are not naturally produced. Now, coconut oil would be a better choice, but you got to find that it's organic coconut oil, and you should not never ever heat coconut oil up. Now, for those people that want to fry food, the best oil that I would suggest is avocado oil, organic avocado oil. Why? Because under the heat, the avocado oil holds its natural composition. You see, I've been in this a long time. Now, I'm not trying to be your doctor and give you no medical thing. I'm just sharing stuff that I know I've learned over the years. And why is it I'm 62 and everything is still working? No, I don't have no high blood pressure. I don't have no diabetes. I don't have no erectile dysfunction. I'm not crazy. I'm memory good. I got a good spirit, good energy. And what are the things they have? Cancer. I don't have no cancer. I can tell you about cancer if you want to know how to get past that. You understand? And so at 62, I'm doing good. You know, the picture I got up here that you see, yeah, my beard under my chin is not that long. I cut that down. I need to go back and do some dental work, but that's me. You know what I'm saying? And so anyway, look, y'all done got me out here, man. I'm an hour and 32 minutes in this. And, you know, anyway, I always enjoy giving you information. And as long as you with me, I'm with you too. And the olive oil. Now, here's the other thing about the olive oil. Here in Israel, I don't know if you all know that the Arabs and Palestinians are the number one olive oil producers. Yeah, I know a lot of those guys up there that produce the olive oil. Olive oil, all right, produces all around the world, all over the world. And this is fact. They cannot produce enough olive oil to meet 100% of the demand. Okay? They can only meet 70% or 75% of the demand of olive oil. So what do they do to make up that 30%, 25, 30% they can't produce? They cut it with another type oil. Because they're in the business to make a profit, then they're looking for the cheapest oil to cut it with. And that is canola oil. Or some other type cheap oil that they feel that they could use to produce this olive oil and meet that 100% demand. How do you get around that? The way you get around it is you yourself must know the producer of the olive oil and have a conversation with them to determine whether or not this olive oil is 100%. Now, Here in Israel, there's a guy that we know. He's a Palestinian Arab guy that produced the olive oil. Uh, they still have their olive oil fields that wasn't destroyed, and he brings us the olive oil, and you can once you take the top off, you can smell it. You can smell that olive oil all the way on the other side of the room. And when you know good olive oil, you know the way good olive oil smell. But when you go out here and you buy olive oil and you look at the bottle, you read the label, you say 100% organic cold pressed olive oil and all this stuff. The thing that the guy was explaining is that the olive oil labels are tricky. They got beautiful labels and it's got all this stuff, organic, 100% cold pressed olive oil and da 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 da. And they got the stamp and they got the numbers and da da da. He said, don't trust it. If you just don't have any other option, then the best, he said the safest way is buy the most expensive olive oil out there. He said that's about the only way that I would say you possibly will come up with a good olive oil, or at least a greater amount of pure olive oil that's not cut. Or if they cut it, it's less, like 95% cut, and it's 95% olive oil. He said if you just can't get to the source, you don't know, then whatever they got on the shelf, read your label. You want your cold press organic, but then don't go cheap. If your budget, if that's all you can do, well, that's all you can do. But if you can afford, you get the most expensive olive oil out there to try to help you get around the cut. Yeah. So the organic avocado oil, you can use that for frying. I'm going out and get me some because I'm gonna make some battered eggplant after I finish working out. I'm gonna end this show. I'm gonna go work out, and then I'm gonna jump in the car and scoot over to the vegetable market and get me some eggplant. And I'm gonna slice them babies up thin. I'm gonna batter them scumboogles and throw them off in that organic oil, fry them busters up, and knock them back. Oh man, I enjoy talking to y'all. And then y'all enjoy listening to me. Because yeah, I'm serious. It said, okay, show me right. What you got here? It's a 2L that costs us $14.35. It's a 2L. What is that? What does that mean? It's a 2L that costs us $14.35. What do you mean by that? Show me right. He says a 2L that costs $14.35. I don't understand what that means. It's a 2L. Hold on, let me see. It's a 2L that costs us. Oh, are you saying 2 liters? That might be what he's saying. 2 liters that costs $14.35. Must be talking about the olive oil. Because prior he said, I'm gonna look into that avocado oil you mentioned, and then it said it's a 2L that costs $14.35. Okay. All right, y'all don't had enough. I believe I done spoke enough now for today. That should be good. And I can move on to the next level. Again, Nubian King. This has been a stretch today, ain't it? Hour and 38 minutes. Nevertheless, I love you from the basement of my heart. I love you all the time. And how much I love you 24/7. I said it because I love you. And this is the Nubian King, broadcast from Israel. I'll be back. And don't forget, tell your people to subscribe. I'll be back again, alive. Shalom, shalom.